Good morning, everyone. We are back again with another lecture of field theory. In the last lecture, we have started the magnetostatic part, and I've seen some basics of magnetostatic. What is magnet, then magnetic field, and magnetic flux density. Okay, and the properties of all those things, isn't it? Have you all remembered all those things? No. So okay, so we'll go further, and today we'll see two very important laws of magnetostatic, and these will be, and I know we had discussed that as we have everything in electrostatic, the same analogous things, I mean the partner of all those things will have the same partner will be having here also in the magnetostatic. So today we'll see two very important laws of magnetostatic. Okay, so again my suggestions is to you all is to keep watching all the videos, and what watching videos is very important, learning is very important, but watching videos on time is more important. Okay, that is what I am trying to say. So please watch videos on time and learn. So we'll be starting with the first law of magnetostatic, which is Biot-Savart law. Okay, so Biot-Savart law, it basically tells about the magnetic field due to a current carrying conductor. Okay, suppose we are having a current carrying conductor, and the direction of the current can be anything, I mean from top to bottom or bottom to top. You remember all those things, no? The direction, how we determine the direction of the current, isn't it? By using right hand thumb rule. So what it is, suppose a conductor, in a conductor the current is flowing from bottom to top. So we'll use our right hand and we'll do this. Our thumb will indicate the direction of the current, and the rotation of the finger will indicate the direction of the field, isn't it? So direction can be determined by a right hand thumb rule, but it's quantitative analysis. I mean, so what is the magnetic field intensity numerically? Okay, so it is determined by this law, Biot-Savart law. Okay, it's pretty simple in fact. So suppose we are having a current carrying conductor. I'm taking the direction from bottom to top. Okay, you can take top to bottom if you want. It will work in both ways. Okay, so according to this law, suppose this current carrying conductor, and we are interested to know the magnetic field intensity at a point P, which is a distance r from it, which is a distance r from this current carrying conductor. Okay, so what it will be? So what we'll do, will make a differential length of this current carrying conductor, and first we'll determine the magnetic field intensity due to this differential length. Okay, and once we'll determine this magnetic field intensity due to this differential length, and will integrate for the whole length. That is the idea, that is the basic idea which we are applying for all the problems of basically this field theory. हम करते क्या है कि सबसे पहले हम एक छोटे से पार्ट के लिए निकाल लेते हैं और उसको उसकी लिमिट में इंटीग्रेट कर देते हैं, isn't it? So at a point P, which is r distance from this differential length of current carrying conductor, the magnetic field intensity is directly proportional to, first of all, this. First of all, the current. I mean, it is proportional to the product of the current which is flowing and that differential length, isn't it? So I current is flowing and the total the length which we are considering is dl. So my differential magnetic field intensity at point P will be dH is directly proportional to I into dl. Okay. Now it is also proportional to the sine of angle between that element and that line which joins that point P to that element. Okay. इस डिफरेंशियल लेंथ से डिफरेंशियल पार्ट से P उस R डिस्टेंस पे जो पॉइंट P है उस पॉइंट पे जो लाइन उसको ज्वाइन करती है, ठीक, तो उसमें बीच में एक एंगल बनेगा, उस एंगल का साइन उसके भी डायरेक्टली प्रोपोर्शनल है. आर यू गेटिंग व्हाट आई एम सेइंग? So differential magnetic field intensity will directly proportional to, first of all, the product of current and the differential length, the product of sine of angle between the element and the line which joins point P to that element, and third, it is inversely proportional to the square of the distance between them. कितना distance है? R. So dH will be inversely proportional to R square. Of course, जब भी हम proportionality sign हटाते हैं, we'll get a constant, and here is K is the constant of proportionality. Okay, and the value of this K is 1 upon 4 pi. Okay, the constant of proportionality, it is 1 upon 4 pi. Fine. So my dH will be I, that is I dl sine theta upon 4 pi r square. Fine. So what we can do, just for the normalization or for the sake of calculation, okay, to reduce the complexity of the calculation, what we are doing, we are doing it this of course it is a vector quantity. Okay, so we are making it a cross product. So how we can make a cross product of it? dl cross r. What is r? R is a vector quantity, isn't it? So vector r. So we are making the dl cross ar. Ar is a unit vector which is pointing towards r direction. Okay, the magnitude will be 1. Direction will be in the direction of r. So when we'll multiply this, a cross b is ab sine theta, isn't it? So my sine theta will obsolete and we'll get dl cross ar. Fine. And if I wanted to simplify it, so ar can be written as vector r upon mod of, vector r upon mod of vector r. So this r square becomes r cube. Fine, no? Is it understandable? समझ में आ रहा है सबको? Okay, now we can integrate it. H, if we want to know H from DH, so we'll integrate between its limit. It's a line integral, we'll definitely get a line integral. H is equal to integral of line integral of DH. Okay, fine. Of and unit, last lecture we had discussed unit of magnetic field intensity is ampere per meter, also known as Tesla. Okay, no? So this is Biot-Savart law, I dl sine theta upon r square. remove sine theta, I mean just write it in the form of vectors because dl is a vector. So I dl cross ar upon 4 pi r square, or I dl cross vector r upon 4 pi r cube. Fine. Okay. So with this law, we can determine various, we can use for various applications, such as I'm taking here a current carrying conductor. So current carrying conductor, what will be the magnetic field intensity and magnetic flux density? Okay. So how you will apply this Biot-Savart law in your numerical problem? Okay. How will you do that? It's pretty simple actually. What we have to do, we just have to find out the vector r. Okay. What is vector r? Once we are done with vector r, we'll simply put all those things in the formula given. We'll integrate it, and once we'll integrate, we'll get the exact magnetic field intensity, the expression of magnetic field intensity. Once we'll get magnetic field intensity, the relation B is equal to mu H, the relationship between flux density and field intensity, of course, in magnetic. So B is equal to mu H, we'll multiply H with mu and we'll get B. Okay. So here you can see that we are having an infinite current carrying conductor, okay, which is kept at z axis. Okay, from a point P, which is in y direction, in y axis. I mean, you can take it in x axis also, no issue. A combination of x or y will also work. Okay, so you can take it and on any of these two axes. Okay, now of course, because of this current carrying conductor, where current is flowing from bottom to top. Okay, first let me know the direction of the field. Direction of the field. Okay, now, so if current is flowing from bottom to top, we'll use our right hand. Okay, right hand, my thumb will indicate the direction of the current, isn't it? We'll keep this my right hand like this. You also can do that. Okay, and the direction of, the rotation of my finger. Okay, the rotation of my finger will indicate the direction of the flux, direction of the field, isn't it? So that will be what, clockwise or anti-clockwise? It will be anti-clockwise. Fine. So direction we can determine. Okay, for numerical value of this and the establishing the relation, what we'll do, first we'll take differential length, we'll multiply with this a of r, then cross multiplication of this vector. Remember, a cross b, simple in matrix form. So we'll get r dz of a phi only. Okay, we'll apply Biot-Savart law, and with Biot-Savart law, the differential magnetic field intensity will be IR dz upon 4 pi r square plus z square in the power 3 by 2 in the direction of a phi. Okay, it's just okay, and from this dh we can calculate h by integrating its between its limit, and the length of this current carrying conductor is infinite. So this will be integrated between minus infinity to plus infinity. Okay. Now, when you will integrate this, you will be requiring this. It's one of the, not so much complicated, but a bit complicated of this integral, which can be solved by substituting this element. So I'm giving you giving you the thing. How will you do that? I mean, should I give? the substitution, try with z square, put z square is equal to r square tan square theta. Okay, substitute this. I'm giving you the substitution. Once you'll substitute, then you'll get your results. It's simple 4-5 lines of mathematical calculation which I did not involve here, but you can do that. I'm giving you the substitution also. One, and remember the rules of the integral. Whenever we are substituting, the limit also changes, isn't it? So do that. H will be, and you'll get H is equal to I upon 2 pi r in the direction of a phi. Of course, a phi. Why? The field is circular, isn't it? Concentric circle के form में आपको field मिलता है. So a phi will be the direction. Correct. That, and if you are getting in the direction of a phi, that is correct. Okay, and H. So I upon 2 pi r in the direction of a phi ampere per meter. From this you can determine B. B is equal to mu H. That is, mu will be multiplied, and suppose this is kept in air or free space, it will be mu naught. Okay, unit Weber per meter square. And this is Tesla. If I'm sorry if I said this, if I said wrong on this magnetic field intensity, and in today's lecture, I guess I have said this ampere per meter Tesla, but this is Weber per meter square Tesla. The unit of B is Weber per meter square, that is Tesla. Okay, okay. So that was all about the Biot-Savart law. As we did for infinite current carrying conductor, you can do for finite length current carrying conductor and other things also. Okay. So from this we can see that H is inversely proportional to R, directly proportional to I. That means inverse. I mean, the more the current, more the field, more the distance, less the field. That's a simple funda. Another law which I want to discuss here is ACL. It is Ampere circuital law. As in electrostatic, what we have studied the Gauss law, isn't it? And Gauss law, and initially we have studied the Coulomb's law. So Coulomb's law was a bit difficult, and we have I mean read and we have studied about the Gauss law, which was a bit easier. Okay, and it was useful to obtain all those electric field in case of complex problems, isn't it? सिमिलरली ये मैग्नेटोस्टैटिक में भी कॉम्प्लेक्स प्रॉब्लम को सॉल्व करने के लिए एक आपका रूल यूज किया जाता है, एक लॉ यूज किया जाता है, विच इज कॉल्ड एम्पियर सर्किटल लॉ. एसीएल भी इसको शॉर्ट फॉर्म में बोलते हैं, एम्पियर्स वर्क लॉ. ओके, एम्पियर सर्किटल लॉ, और which states that the line integral of magnetic field intensity is equal to the current enclosed by, okay, so the line integral of magnetic field intensity is equal to the current enclosed. Simple, we can do, we will determine, suppose we'll take the proof of this ACL. We'll take an infinite current carrying conductor. What is the H of this? We have just determined. What was it? I upon 2 pi r in the direction of a phi. Take dl. dl we can take any current, dl we can take in any coordinate system, but here the cylindrical coordinate system would be better to take. That's why dl here. r d phi in the direction of a phi. Of course, that is a long, but a phi dot a phi will be 1, remaining all will be 0. Okay, so we'll get I upon 2 pi in the direction of I upon 2 pi d phi. Okay, we'll integrate. What will be the limit of phi? The limit of phi is 0 to 2 pi. Okay, so we'll integrate this and we'll get inline integral of h dot dl is equal to I, which was supposed to come, isn't it? The current carried by that conductor, which proves your Ampere circuital law. Okay, so this was all the proof. Now the steps to apply ACL. How will apply for any problem, for any complex problems, and if we want to determine H, current or H or B, whatever we want to determine, how we will apply this Ampere circuital law. First of all, we'll consider symmetrical closed path, okay, which will enclose this current. Okay, this is the Ampere path. Now we'll take proper DL differential length as per the coordinate system, choice of the coordinate system. Okay, we'll take the product of H and DL. Okay, and once we'll get H and H dot DL, we will integrate between its limit. Okay, and will equate it to the current enclosed by that path. So whatever will be the unknown quantity or unknown parameter, that will be determined easily. Fine. So with this you can argue again, we had determined the H and B by using the Biot-Savart law in a current carrying conductor. Similarly, we can do for from ACL also, Ampere circuital law also. Okay, okay, fine. So exercise, as far as the exercise is concerned, what you have to do, you just have to study both the law. That is the only thing. Okay, Biot-Savart law and Ampere circuital law. Please watch the video and make a note of it. That is the only exercise which I'll give today. Okay. Okay, fine. So keep learning and happy learning. Thank you. Thank you very much.